Hi. Well, I was just this morning, I woke up, I was meditating, and I thought about power and how, in my experience, women truly are the source of power. And what I do know is the source of all power is feminine, it's a feminine energy. And I thought about this and, women taking their power back and being powerful and all the times I've experienced that in many different countries in the world. So I wanted to get really clear about power, what power is, and how it applies to women. Because I'm in the process of considering doing a whole series, maybe called the Avalon series or the Avalon Files or Women of Avalon or something of that nature and name, where I really talk about um, how in legend Avalon is really the place where women go to work their magic together or to be together and work together and really tap into the power of the feminine, the power that resides and is sourced in the feminine, and where men go, if they're blessed and lucky enough, where men go to be empowered, to be renewed, to be healed. For women, the healing is when they come together as women who know the feminine and they take each other deeper and deeper into the true nature of the feminine. That's where the real healing for women emerges. But for men, men need to go to women to be empowered and to be healed. It's just, but not any woman. And we're not even talking about just women, but men need to know the feminine because that's the source of all power. And it's in the nature and the power of the feminine to empower men. It also empowers women. But for women to be empowered by the feminine, they need to go deeper into the feminine. And they do that most effectively with each other, most powerfully, most profoundly is the right word when they're with each other. But men need to go to the feminine, which means in practical life, men need to connect with women on a practical level, or men need to discover their own feminine energy. I don't mean just give themselves over to it, but they need to journey to it, be in touch with it, because that's where the healing and their empowerment flows from. And it doesn't flow from there to make them, sensitive new age guys who are basically just acting like women or acting like disempowered women. But it empowers them to truly become men. Because men need to work with other men and they need to work with women. And they need to work with women to discover the feminine. And specifically with women who know the feminine, not women who theorize about it, but don't really know it in their own experience, who aren't living from that feminine energy, but women who truly know the feminine. Men need women like that in their life. I mean, so much. And men need contact with other men as well to empower them or to strengthen their masculinity is the best way of putting it. To strengthen their masculinity, but they need connection with women to empower their masculinity. And it needs to be with women who empower them as men. Whereas women dive into their power together. And it's so crucial in that process for women to have some woman or women who know the feminine to guide the other women into that. And then when they're deeply connected with the power that is within feminine energy, it empowers a woman's masculine energy. And so you end up with the women I know who really know the feminine have strong masculine sides too. It just comes with the territory. It's not like they're not out there competing with men or anything. But they have a strong, properly balanced masculine side, but their power is sourced from, and is rooted in the feminine. And they know what it is to be feminine. Now, when it comes to power, power is the ability and the willingness to act. Now, that's a definition. The ability to act is straight out of the dictionary. The ability and the willingness to act comes from, the first time I heard that was from Lazarus, a teacher of mine. And as I worked with it, I realised, yes, the ability and the willingness to act. Power isn't the action. It's having the ability and the willingness to take action, whether you take it or not. It's having that ability and the willingness. Now, the ability to act is feminine. All ability comes from feminine energy. Willingness is masculine energy. And when you put the both together, as I said, with both men and women in my earlier example, men who know the feminine and have the strengthening impact of other men, they end up with a strong masculine energy and a powerful feminine energy in balance. Same thing with women. They end up knowing the power that they hold within them in their feminine side, but also having an empowered and strong masculine energy. They have feminine and masculine energy balanced together. Well, it's the same thing with ability and willingness. So here you are, you've got this ability to act, not the action. And then you find where you're willing to take the action. And when you have the ability and you have the willingness, you have access to the power to act, if you so decide. Now, having the capacity to decide when the energy is right and when the timing is right to take the action, that gives you the freedom to work with your power and the freedom to work with your power. Because just because you can doesn't mean you have to. And using that power when the time is right and the energy is right is being responsible. So the root of the whole thing, where this all emerges from, is the feminine. And when I see women who are trying to be powerful, or strong women, women's power, it used to make me laugh. Then I got angry about it. Just in, being involved with a lot of situations where this was happening in terms of even people working with other people and healing and all that sort of stuff. And then at a certain point, particularly when I was in Los Angeles and I was working with an 80-year-old firecracker of a woman named Pat Allen, and it became so obvious through just watching her work with men and women what was going on. It just not broke my heart, but my heart opened up with real compassion. And it boiled down to this: if women really knew their feminine nature, really, the denial of that to women by just whatever goes on in life, societies, other women, other men, there's so many variants of that. But the loss of that ability to really understand the incredible power and magnificence of feminine energy and its gentleness and it totally lacks a desire to dominate. It has no desire to be on top, and yet it loves being creative and doing things together because it's so much fun. And the lack of women really experiencing that, really knowing that. When I saw it in real life with women who were, by all external measurements, powerful, successful, rich, well off, just young, beautifully dressed, everything like that, and being completely lost. And in a sense, not having to have a safe place even to admit that to themselves, let alone to anybody else, because they didn't know the true feminine. When I saw that, and I went through that little phase of being like, oh God, and then saw how fearful and confused and lost they were at the core, it really moved me. And this was years ago now, probably 6-7 years ago. And I began to have some empathy and compassion for what women are going through at a deeper level than I'd had before. And I realised that anger is because men so long for, so need, so want to have women who know the feminine in their lives, because men need that input. In the Arthurian legend, every knight of the Round Table had a woman mentor. Arthur had 3, Merlin had 2. Because men need women who know the feminine to truly mentor and empower them, because power comes from the feminine. But then I also saw that the key to that was, at least from my point of view as a man, encouraging women to truly know and experience the power that lies within the feminine, which is so unlike the power that women chase externally in the world. And yet, so much the solution to all the distortions of that are obvious when you look at the world. And I could talk about this for hours. What I've seen, what I've experienced, the things I've been through as a man relating to women and dealing with men's groups, women's groups, all sorts of stuff. But the real essence of this video is that power is a feminine energy. It is sourced, and it comes from the feminine. And as women, you need to know that power within yourself. And then, see, it's not the ability to act and therefore you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, the true role of women is to empower men to do what they truly want to do, what the men truly want to do. Not what they've been conditioned to do, not what they've been told by TV or porno or whatever it is out there that they want, but what they truly in their heart want to do, to empower them to be the man that they were born to be. Not conceptually, but actually the way they're designed. the way they're their unique expression of masculinity. The role of women is to empower men to be that, because they have the ability to act. The ability to act is a feminine power. It's a gift. And the greatest joy for a woman who knows the feminine is to give that gift. And when a man receives that gift, his natural role comes to the surface, which is to support the woman fully in her creativity. And women love to be creative. It's just feminine energy loves to do things together and be creative. And to be supported in that creativity, just, I've seen this happen, women dancing with men who really know how to dance in utter ecstasy, because they've been supported fully in the expression of their creativity. Just create, I called it ecstasy at the time, but creativity just pouring out of that woman as an energy. She wasn't necessarily doing anything artistically except dancing, but just ecstatic joy, creativity in full flow. And so I just wanted to share that today because I wanted to share it today. It just really struck me today. I mean, I've been looking at this for decades, to be honest, but today just felt like a day I truly wanted to express that. And as I was thinking about that, I've been talking to one particular woman in Europe who really loves Avalon. And that conversation inspired me to, well, it has now, it was days ago, but it has now inspired me to take what I know about Avalon, which is a whole story in itself, and share it in some form. But to share it from a point of, I'm not doing this because I'm putting out, the new system's going to save the world and save women, or it's going to be the greatest marketing tool, or I'm going to be well known, anything like that. Because this woman really challenged me to come from who I truly am inside. There's something deeper than all the knowledge that I know, and to come from there. And what I realized over the last few days is I just totally love nurturing. And there's concepts about what that means, but to give of what I know for no other reason but to nurture the people I give it to give of myself, to nurture the enjoyment of your life, to nurture women, or to give, I'm not a woman, so to go deep into the feminine experientially, and that women need other women who know the feminine to do that. If you're a woman listening to this, you need women who know the feminine, not theoretically, who live it, who are embodied in it, who know it, whether they ever talk about it or not, whether they ever dance under the stars or run seminars. They may or they may not. But I know as a man how I know a woman who knows the feminine. She may bust my chops or love me to death. Just love me and love me and love me. And I've been working with women for decades now who like that. They should just love me in all sorts of ways, make me food, talk to me, inspire me, make love to me, whatever it is, whatever form of relationship we have. Or she may just point out with such clarity and such, depth, what really needs to be, where I really need to grow up, or where I need to expand, or, where I'm just fooling myself, or whatever it is. And I can walk out of that house, as I have done, and know that even if my whole reality's been shaken to the core and that I'm feeling incredibly vulnerable, that I feel even in that vulnerability expanded, empowered. It's literally a feeling of being expanded. And then when I've been loved and taken care of and everything, I feel expanded. I never feel diminished, castrated, put down by a woman who knows the feminine. I never feel regaled against, attacked. There are times when I feel incredibly vulnerable and I can become defensive, but I'm never put down. I mean, the extreme word for that is castrated by a woman who knows the feminine, only empowered and expanded. And I've had many, many experiences like that. Because when a woman knows she is the source of power, or when a man knows the feminine and knows the true nature of power, there is no need for that. Unless, you know, you're being attacked, and then there's a fierceness there that can come out to protect yourself or to protect others that's totally appropriate to the situation and ends when that's dealt with. And that's it. So this is a deep topic, and I really wanted to. So I cannot, run seminars to point out what women need, but I can share my knowledge in an attempt to nurture and share it from the place of where I'm doing it to nurture, where I'm doing it to, as they say in Thailand, take care. Such a beautiful word when you really, or beautiful phrase when you really experience it. I love to do that. I love to pass that on and see another person's life blossom, to see them enjoy the gift of being alive as a human being. And so I'm thinking of doing this thing, this series of videos or whatever it turns out to be, called the Avalon, Women of Avalon or whatever, because Avalon, in the Arthurian legend, is a place across the water, and there's more to it than that, but across the water, where the women gather together to truly be in their power and to manifest their creativity, the energy of their creativity coming from that power, where they become powerful together, love and heal and work together, work their, whatever you want to call it, do their work their magic together. And where a man can come, or men can come, and be empowered and be healed. That's what it was in legend. It's what it actually is in legend. And to share that perspective and those maps, I hope will nurture your appreciation for what the feminine energy, and nurture your insight as to how magnificent masculine energy can also be. And then create an environment where they can work together and truly experience the beauty of living, working magic together. So let's just leave it at that. And if you have any comments on this, let me know. Any suggestions, anything you'd like to add to it, anything that would add value, then feel free to let me know via this or the other, there'll be a link or whatever for you to contact me or to look at what I'm doing, put in with this video. See you soon.